it's Tamsin here at Beginners Quilting Hub. I've got a fresh cup of tea. It's Wednesday. It's my favourite time of the week. It's Quilt Tube. I've got some fresh WIPS to show you this week. They're not ones that I've started in the last week, but they're ones that I've discovered that I've still got. And I'm quite embarrassed. So, oh, I haven't shown you this mug yet, have I? Look at this. So this goes with the fabric from Barnatex. The Cityscape, is it called Cityscape? Cityscape by Amanda Murphy for Barnatex. So this was a strip pack that I bought when I went to Keaton's Quilts in New York. Haven't opened it yet, but if you want a closer look at the fabrics inside, let me know. But it's basically all based around cities and landscapes. So it's a really nice fabric bundle. Anyway, I'll put that one away. I just wanted to show you. I'm going to put my tea over there so I don't spill it. Let's start with the two things that I found this week that I'm embarrassed to say remain as WIPS. The first one is, just get myself organised. So the first one is actually a Lynette Anderson project, and this has been here for a little while. It's called Bird in a Basket. And as I say, it's a Lynette Anderson Designs pillow cushion. And there's a mixture of applique, hand sewing, and also these really cute flower buttons or flowers that you make, like puff flowers. Gosh, this has been a WIP for a while. So let me show you how far I've got with it. And the annoying thing is, if I gave this one final push, it would actually be finished quite quickly. Now, rather than doing, there's all of that in the shot, rather than doing a cushion, I think I'm going to turn this into a mini wall hanging and actually pop it up on the wall, because cushions in this house get squished, laid on, the dog lays on it, food gets spilt on it. So, and this is one that really has taken me some time. These tiny little English paper pieced hexagons, I think they're 1/2 inch. So each side is 1/2 inch. So they are really diddy. And then we've got the bigger ones along the bottom. So these puff flowers go in these spaces here, 1, 2, and 3. And I've actually started making them. So I've made 3 little buttons. I'll just hold these up. 3 little buttons, which are going to be the flower centres. So you basically make, if you've ever made buttons before, this is just a standard way of making a button. They go in the middle. And then I've started making the little leaves, petals. Oh, where's my words? The little petals to go around the flowers. So I'm going to make these in grey. I think I'll probably do some different colours for the different ones. But basically you sew them up like this and then you pull them so that they squidge in, and then you're going to sew them around the button. So then you get your cute little flower. So that's those bits along here in the middle. So I've got that to do, and then I also need to add the handle for the basket. And the reason I left that one, I know why, is because it's bias binding, and up until starting the hometown quilt, I'd never made any bias binding really. I'd done it years and years ago, wasn't a big fan, so I was putting off doing it. But actually now, having done the hometown sew along and having invested in my bias tape makers, that is going to make that a real breeze, because these just make the job so much easier. I'll pop a link to these in the description box. I get a lot of questions about these. So you can buy some very expensive clover ones, but for the amount that I use them, I just opted to get kind of a cheaper set. They're probably not as good, and they don't have clear instructions as to what size your fabric needs to be. But generally speaking, when you're making things, the pattern will tell you. So in here is the width of fabric that I need. So I just match that up with the tape maker, and away we go. And I've also made the little bird. Where's the other wing? What have we got? So that's the belly. So I've made the little bird and the wing. I'll hold that up like that. So that's done. Actually, there's not loads to do. And then around the edge are the squares. So there's one of every fabric within the cushion front. And I've added a few others of my kind of favourites. So once it's done, I can square it up, add these, and then I think what I'll do is I'll probably do it as a mini quilt. So I'll put some batting behind it, put some backing behind it, binding around it, and then it can go up on the wall. So So if you want to ask me in a couple of weeks' time how I've got on with that, oh, let's put that back in, just to really get a wriggle on with it, then please do, because I feel like I need some accountability to get this one done. This is like one of the longest, or one of the oldest WIPs that I've got, and I want it done. So that's WIP number 1. The second one I wanted to show you is an Alice Caroline design, and this is one that I got for my birthday last year, I think, from my husband. And it's actually a clock to go up on the wall. So you make all of these petals here using the English paper piecing method, and then you hand sew them onto the backing fabric, which then goes onto a board, and you've actually got a clock mechanism in here as well. Let me show you where I've got to. So you get, oh, my sew tights are stuck to it. You get everything you need. So you get, this is obviously to stick to the fabric. You get this to make the actual clock. You get all the fabrics, you get the templates, you get this really cute little pack of fabric, which obviously I've dug into already. Then you get all the bits that you need for the clock to be a working clock. And you get full instructions of how to make the clock and everything like that to put it together. So where I've got to is I've actually made and appliqued the whole shape. So I've done the hard part again, and I've put it in a box and thought I'll come back to that, and I haven't. So it's done, it's pressed. I need to take out the templates, but I'll do that when I'm going to put it onto the backing fabric. I think you even get, yeah, you even get the backing fabric in it as well. So this just needs a press, and then you attach that to it. So this isn't too far off either, but again, it's something new, isn't it? Trying out some new skills, putting something together that you've not done before. So here's the clock mechanism in here. So you put a battery in, and then you've actually got a working clock. And how amazing would that look in here? I just hope it's not a ticking clock. But so that is the Alice Caroline. It's called the Dresden Flower Clock. And this is still available on her website if you're interested in having a go at this project and maybe spurring me on a bit. This is still available, and it's cute. Really, really pretty. The fabrics are all Tana Lawn fabrics, so they're really lovely to work with. But obviously you could use your own as well. But it's just really nice. The finished size is 12 inch by 12 inch. It says skill level 1 out of 4. But I would say it's skill level 1 if you've done English paper piecing before, because you've actually got, yes, you've got some straight edges, but you've got some curves here as well. So it's probably not a first English paper piecing project, in my opinion. I would want to have had a go, had a practice with the glue before I made these, because you want them to be accurate. They're going to be going on the wall. So that is another WIP. I don't think you've seen either of those two. Those are two projects that I really want to get finished. Okay, so what else have I got? I've been working this week on a Missouri Star project. I'm a partner with them, so every couple of months we're given a little assignment that we can opt in to have a go at. And this one was choose 1 or 2 charm packs and make some kind of gift or kind of celebration item. Not a quilt, not a cushion as such. So different people have made different things. I can't share with you what I'm making because I haven't quite finished it yet and I haven't sent it off yet, but I'll hopefully be able to share it with you next week. But I thought I would show you the fabrics that they sent me. So I chose 2 different charm packs. I have chosen Poppies by Maywood Studio and Sandalwood by Moda. So 2 different charm packs. And what I've done is I've mixed the 2 together so that I can then get out all the colours that I wanted. For the project that I'm doing, I'm using pinks, maybe a few reds if they go, and some yellows and a few neutrals. So those are the 3 colours that I needed. So it was quite hard to find a charm pack that only had those colours. So what I've done is I've had the 2 and I've pulled out different ones from each pack. But I thought I'd show you a couple of the really, really, really cute ones. So these are from the Moda fabrics. Look at these. Aren't they beautiful? And then there's like these dark navy blues with the little flowers in. And then it moves into this kind of, what would you call this? Like a rusty red. It's really, really pretty. And you get a lot of neutrals in this pack as well. So there's lots of like this design with the browns, the reds, the goldy colours, all mixed in. And I love this charm pack so much. I actually had this, I'd ordered this before I went to Missouri Star, and when I got there I saw the fabric bundle in fat quarter, so I've grabbed that as well. I've got no project in mind for this one, but I just know that if I didn't get it I would regret it. And it's such a gorgeous colour combination. It's not a colour combination that I would ordinarily use, but I saw it and I was really drawn to it, so I've grabbed that, and it's just kind of up on my shelf at the moment. So that is Sandalwood by Moda, and this is Three Sisters. So the designer is Three Sisters for Moda. I'll show you that. So that's that one. And then we've got the Poppies collection, which is really cute. There's lots of black and navy blue and red within this collection. I don't think I've got many left. This one, and then we've got some other reds. Which other ones? The lemony yellows came from that collection, and the greenies. So very florally, which is good for the project that I'm doing, and lots of these kind of greens. I'm going to have loads of squares left over from these two, so I'm gonna, well, the project that I'm making, actually I could make a few more, and I'm thinking that they would make really nice gifts. So once I've kind of got that sorted and I've got everything that I need and I've got the steps figured out, I can, yeah, potentially make a few more in different colourways. But all will be revealed once that has been submitted and handed over. I have to show you this fabric. I don't think I've shown you this before. I did mention it in my Instagram reel this week, but this is the Tula Pink Full Moon Forest 2 pack. This is a layer cake, and this was gifted to me by Missouri Star. If I hold it up like that, you can see those rainbows. I mean, Tula and colour, it just literally goes, doesn't it? But we've got so many different colours in here. So this is a layer cake, so it's 42 squares that are 10 inches by 10 inches. And I put up a poll in my Instagram, on my Instagram account, asked for some help choosing which pattern. So the first choice was the Jenny Lane. These are both Missouri Star patterns. The Jenny Lane pattern, which uses a layer cake and obviously backing fabric. And this one finishes at 71 by 82.5, so it's quite a big quilt. So that was one option. And the other option was the Opposites Attract, which is 59 by 69 inches, which is another Missouri Star pattern featuring stars. So it's kind of a little bit difficult for me because these are literally my two favourite things to make. I love making houses and I love making stars, but I couldn't pick between the two, and I wish I had two Tula Pink bundles because then I would make both. But I've asked people to vote in a poll to see which one of these two they would most like to see me make. And within 24 hours, there was so many votes, and it was literally 50-50. There's been no help at all. So pop a comment below and just tell me whether you prefer houses or stars. That might be easier. If you want to have a go at voting, I'm going to leave this open for another 24 hours. So probably Friday, I will decide which pattern, and we'll go with, I will pick a time in the day and I will just cut it off at that point, go in, and whichever one is leading will be the one that I make. So let me know in the comments if you want to have a vote. Jenny Lane, houses, or Opposites Attract, stars or houses. Let me know in the comments which one you would most like to see made with the Tula Pink fabrics. Now, I want to give you an update on the Hometown quilt. Let me go and get the block. This is the block that I've just finished. This is the sheep house. It's so cute. Well, I had a question from someone asking kind of what the inspiration was behind this quilt. So this is obviously a Laurie Holt quilt pattern, a design, Laurie Holt design, and Laurie likes to use kind of vintage colours, vintage fabric. She sews on vintage sewing machines. She's very much kind of old school, grassroots, loves the kind of farmer life, the countryside life, and really giving a nod to times gone by. And I looked into this, and basically this quilt is a little bit of a nod to her kind of growing up. So she grew up as a farmer's daughter, and she's just brought out a new fabric collection called Farmer's Daughter. And yeah, all of these blocks are kind of like houses that would have been in the neighbourhood as she was growing up. So things like the pineapple house was kind of a sign of welcoming. The firework house was different celebrations that they had. And then I think this block is probably a nod to, you know, the farmer girl in her. So that's where they come from. Now this was a bit of a test because these legs, these took me a few goes to get these right. They are tiny. They're 1 inch long once pressed under and added to the sheep. They are really, really, really small. It took me a while to figure out what colour I wanted to do. Put this on the design board. It took me a while to figure out what colour I wanted to do the sheep. I originally thought about doing a black face, but it just looked too dark with the quilt. There's no other blacks in the quilt, so I've stuck with what she's done and done a darker head and a lighter body. But I really enjoyed this one. So another one done, and I've prepared all the papers for the next block, which is the cherry house block. So all the papers are done, and I've almost decided what fabrics I'm going to use. So hopefully by next week I'll have another one done, because I'm determined to catch back up. I think with illness and everything else, I got a bit behind with them, and I want to catch back up now. So I can hopefully get all the blocks finished by the summer. That was kind of the goal, wasn't it? Not necessarily to get the quilt made, but this will be 9. The cherry house will be 10. Then we've got the strawberry house and the tea house, which I think is going to be my favourite one. It's all pinks and blues, and it's got a little teacup on the top with a little tea bag hanging out. So it literally sums me up. Oh, which reminds me. So I'm really looking forward to making that one. But yeah, so another one done. Another one done. I also have an update on the sew along that I'm doing with the lovely Kimberly from Autumn Hollow Patchwork. I mentioned last week that we're going to be doing a sew along together. The pattern that we're going to be making is this one here, Big T Origami, the Missouri Star pattern. And we've got a layer cake each. So we were both gifted the Kaffe Fassett Collective Classics layer cake. That's a mouthful, which is this really densely coloured, very bright fabric from Kaffe Fassett. And I've matched it up with a nice white plain background to really make the colours pop. We've chosen the pattern, and we have now worked out how we're going to do it, and there will be, I will put the information down in the description box below so that you've got it. But basically what we're going to do is split it up over about 5 to 6 weeks, in hopes that by the end of the 6 weeks we'll have a finished quilt top. So there's no pressure, no rush. The first week is going to kick off on the 16th of June, which is next Monday, but feel free to get started if you're going to be sewing along with us. So the first week is going to be all about cutting. I've cut a few to kind of show you what the cutting looks like. So from each layer cake square, you cut a collection of 2 larger squares. I'm not going to give the sizes because it is a paid for pattern. So 2 larger squares, and several smaller squares. So there's not masses of cutting, but there is obviously 40 layer cake squares to cut. So I have done a couple just to kind of see how they go. And then from the other, so basically you split your pile into 30 for that cutting, and then the remaining ones you want the smaller squares to go in the centre. So you can see there's quite a few of them, and I've started cutting those as well. So basically from each layer cake square you cut 4 of these squares. So the cutting is going to be 30 layer cake squares cut into larger squares and smaller squares, and then between 10 and 12 squares cutting 4 of these medium squares out of it. So there is quite a lot of cutting, but it's easy cutting, it's all squares. So actually get a film on, get a podcast on, get an audio book on, whatever your preference is, and get cutting. There's no prep in terms of the fabric. We're not going to be starching it or anything like that because it's a pre-cut. You don't want to be starching it because it might distort out of shape. So the first week is going to be cutting. Let's get everything cut and organised. The instructions are really clear about how you're going to cut each layer cake and how to package it and store it all. The next week we're going to start doing the half square triangles. There's quite a few half square triangles to make. So each of the corners of these, if you can see, will be green and white half square triangles, and then you're going to make them 4 for each one. So we're going to try and get all the half square triangles made in week 2. Week 3 will be the flying geese, which are the bits. So you've got this white rectangle, and then above it, you've got a flying geese on each side. So there's 4 flying geese per block. So the following week, we're going to do flying geese. And then the 4th, 5th, and potentially 6th week will be making all the blocks, which I think will actually come together quite quickly because you'll be able to chain piece. But we want to give ourselves plenty of time, and also time to catch up if we haven't quite made all the half square triangles and flying geese. So that is going to be the sew along. So we're going to start that officially on Monday. We're going to put out a little post out on Instagram this week with all the information on it. But don't feel like you need to use the same fabric that we're using. If you've got a layer cake sitting there and you're not quite sure what to do with it, or you've got some fabrics that actually you could cut into 10-inch squares, you just need about 40 to 42 10-inch squares. So grab a layer cake that you've already got, or go shopping for another one, and grab this pattern, which is currently on sale on the Missouri Star website. But I will put the details of what I'm using down in the description box and the pattern name, so that you can go and grab that if you want to. And I'll also put the kind of rough timeline down there as well, so that you've got an idea of that. But I think that wraps up this week's Quilt Tube. It's been another busy one. So the week going forward, I want to make another hometown sew along block. So we're going to make the cherry house. I want to try and work on the 2 WIPs that I've shown you. I may not get to them this week, but they're definitely ones I want to look at over the next couple of weeks. Charm pack project, the deadline for that was the 12th of June. So I need to get that done, finished and submitted, and then I can show you guys what I've made. And you can let me know if you want a kind of walkthrough of how I made it, the project. And what else do we have on this week? Midway through writing a pattern. Would you like to see it? So I've designed this block, which I'm calling the daisy spin. I'm about 3/4 of the way through writing the pattern for it. I like my patterns to be incredibly detailed, simple but detailed. I like them to be step by step, so that you can look at it and you can literally follow it. Point 1, do this. Point 2, do this. No guesswork. So my patterns do take me a little bit of time, but I want them to be written in a way that if this is your first block, you can be successful with it. And how fun would that be as a giant quilt? It'd be amazing, wouldn't it? So that's the pattern that I'm working on at the moment, and hoping to get that finished in the next couple of weeks as well. But I'll let you know when that's live and in my shop. I think that's everything for today. I hope you've had an amazing week. I hope you've enjoyed this week's Quilt Tube. Let me know down below if you enjoyed the video, if there's any projects that you're keen to see more of, and let me know if you're going to join in on the sew along. If you are enjoying kind of seeing what I'm getting up to, you can follow me on Instagram. I'm on there most days, posting kind of in the moment what I'm up to, what's happening in the sewing room. And I also have a completely free Facebook group, which is growing by the day. We just like to share everything that we're doing, and questions, answers, that kind of thing. We love questions and show and tell and that kind of thing in there. It's just a completely relaxed, it feels like just a massive group of friends sharing what they're getting up to. So if that's a kind of group that you're interested in, the link is down below in the description box. Come and join us. No pressure to post anything. You can just be a lurker and see what's going on in that group. My website is live. There's so many blog posts on there. There's loads of free stuff on there. There's loads of patterns on there. So if you're interested in going to check that out, go have a peek, and all the links and everything will be down below. But for now, I will say goodbye. I'm going to go and have a nice cup of tea and maybe some chocolate. Take Dottie for a walk, and then I'm going to get on with the charm pack project. So I'll see you soon.